Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. It is that time to do the manga review of Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 76, The Fate of the Saiyans. As always on these manga reviews, I am joined by my friend GB. We're not calling him Leonard anymore. It's just GB. GB, what's up, baby?
You know, I just happen to love life and love this last chapter and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, your opinion's wrong.
Fuck off, dude. All right, that's first. Second of all, we just did a long, I didn't even record it. I should have recorded it for the Patreon listener, but we just had a good long pre-show session, giving our opinions about this chapter, just catching up on bullshit. And it became very clear very quickly that GB and I are at odds on this chapter. We are also joined by our friend from the R-Gap podcast, Rayshawn Gadsden. Rayshawn, how you been, man?
Good. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm kind of on the same wavelength as JB. I'm not saying that I'm more into it as being good than bad, so I'm going to be siding with him more on this podcast.
All right. Well, me, you, and GB will have to have a fight in the back alley, and it's going to look like a real racist thing because it's one white dude taking on two black guys at the same time. Sounded worse than I meant it. Our fourth guest this month on the chapter.
It's going to be a real nice Oreo.
Our fourth guest this month, longtime member of the Patreon. If you want a bunch of uncut episodes, extra podcasts, videos, all of those things, patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. Help support our dumbass thing that we do. A longtime supporter of the show, friend of mine, Reese Andriotis, all the way from Australia. How you doing, Reese?
Good, man. Living a fucking dream in a country full of riots and earthquakes.
Yeah, dude. You got people like getting shot by cops. You got koalas in your backyard and shit. You got all sorts of shit happening.
Yeah, man. It's a fucking epidemic.
Sounds like America.
Yeah, it sounds like America, but like with koalas.
But yeah, I enjoyed this chapter.
All right. So I'm glad that you all are kind of in agreement because it kind of checks out with what I saw on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. A lot of people were very much a fan of this chapter, and I am super like in the minority in my opinion on this one. I thought this chapter was another great example of some lazy writing and another example of, hey, here's some fan service. Please don't get mad at us for what we're about to do. And what we're about to do is not land this chapter successfully. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I read the chapter again for a third time today before we sat down to do this, took my notes, and I did feel a little bit better about it. The possibilities of what this chapter could spell out for the future of the arc and I guess Dragon Ball in general. It's got some upward limits. It could be some good stuff, but I personally, based on what I know about Toriyama and Toyotaro, I think this was like a very, hey, remember Bardock moment? Bardock's cool, right? Cool.
I feel you, but okay. If I had to cut in a little bit, I just feel like the Vegeta and Granola fight has a different meaning in this chapter. Like, I felt like he wanted to win, but in the middle of it, it's kind of like he was trying to take on the sins for the Saiyans. Like he was going to accept losing to Granola. Cause like it was some points of that fight where I was like, I don't understand why he keeps going so into it, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's a moment in there where Vegeta just kind of accepts the fact that he's going to die or whatever, and it comes right after him trying to talk some sense into Granola.
Yeah, because I felt like he was trying to get Granola to like change his opinion.
I don't even know if it's changed his opinion on the Saiyans so much as it was like, hey, man, your life could be, greater than just
revenge.
Trying to live out a revenge fantasy like Inigo Montoya style. You know what I mean? Like Inigo Montoya, after the six-fingered man dies, he's like, what am I going to do? I have no fucking purpose left in life. Same sort of thing with what that could be with Granola. So I think it's funny that Vegeta tries to make that appeal to him and then ultimately accepts the fact that he's not going to accept it, and that he will, in fact, like
Take
you
on the
said,
same.
like die for the sins of the Saiyans.
That's just how I seen it. So I don't know. Like some people like have different like thoughts on it, but that's just how I saw that whole.
Well, I want to run down a timeline, not a timeline, because this chapter does not cover a ton of time. It's a very direct chapter, but I want to run down the events of this chapter in order. But GB, Reese, anybody got some initial thoughts going in before I do this recap?
Only thought I had was I was a little confused. Maybe it's just because, of course, I've heard nothing about Bardock through the anime, not necessarily the manga. So it was a little confusing for me when they said Bardock with a U instead of Bardock.
You're not alone in that, my friend. There was a lot of people being like, Bardock looks an awful lot like the name Bardock. Could they be the same person?
I was honestly like one of my friends, shout out to him, because him and I, we always geek over Dragon Ball stuff all the time.
Does he listen to Dragon Ball Super Dope, you think?
He's not a big podcast person.
Well, tell your friend to get fucking cultured, please.
We need all the views we can get.
He honestly,
like that,
he honestly said, he's just like, yeah, you know, what if like this is his grandfather and like, you know, and he put some more stuff into it, and I was like, you know, that I can feel that. Like, I feel like if it was, but I was like, I'm pretty sure they meant Bardock. And
I think it's just like a spelling mistake. Because if it's like that in the Viz manga, it might be a different person.
It's not. Think about that. It's not. And you guys are silly to even suggest it, given the fact that Monaito sees Goku in this chapter and says, oh shit, is
what
if
his granddad looked like him too? I mean, that wouldn't be that far off.
Or what if Bardock has a brother named Bardock?
Guys.
Yeah, what if it's a twin cousin?
Guys. Maybe it's a twin brother that happens to come every once in a blue moon, you know, like Tarble or whatever his name was.
Guys.
The good Saiyan?
What about the Azaru with the scar on his cheek? That pretty much says it as Bardock.
Good call. Good call. Reese, you got any initial thoughts on this chapter before we dive into a recap?
No, I thought it was good. I think the timeline of if it is Bardock, how he finds his conscience to save something is a bit off from their canon technically in the Broly movie and shit. So
yeah,
it feels just like make a new Broly movie.
Yeah, Broly Part 3.
Stop changing the past.
I mean, it feels like this could be a prequel to the events that we see in Dragon Ball Minus in the early parts of the Broly movie, which same thing, but I'm being a dickhead and referring to them in two different ways. I did see a few people suggest like, hey man, Granola's mom's kind of a babe. What if Bardock clapped her cheeks or whatever? Like I saw a couple of people just like try desperately to be like, maybe Goku and Granola are brothers and Bardock fucked his mom. And I'm like,
that would be hilarious.
In the flashback where Bardock, I guess, saves them, Granola's like 10. You think Bardock went in time back 10 years to fuck Granola's mom, to have Granola as a child? I don't think you understand how this sort of thing works. But also, we're talking about Dragon Ball Super fans who are keeping up with the manga month to month. So there is a strong possibility that they are, in fact, virgins who think that the stork delivers babies.
Unless Bardock went there years ago, that's why he saved her and his illegitimate bastard child.
Yeah, he shows up, he's like, hey, what's up, baby? My bad. Been gone for 10 years.
What if maybe the people who are virgins who think about that, what if their father is Bardock? The stork is Bardock.
Am I Bardock? Wait, is Bardock my dad? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Shut up. That was rude.
Might be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah, right. Yandu. All right. Chapter 76, Fate of the Saiyans. So this is another great example of a chapter where the leaks from the company, I believe, kind of blew up the entire chapter for me. But this month was kind of special in that there was at least a few social media pages that had very long, detailed leaks with bullet pointed out plot points that all turned out to be true. So a little bit of a different month than I was hoping that we would see something kind of, out of left field that wasn't revealed in the scans. No such luck. This chapter was, given to us via text like a week before it came out. So, that said, let's get into it. Vegeta is getting his ass beat again because that's how the last chapter ended. But like the scans gave us very early on, Goku has a very Vegeta-esque moment and hops in and punches Granola in the face and saves Vegeta's life. And I thought that was beautifully drawn. Thought it was a good time. Thought it was fun. Vegeta, though, on the other hand, definitely wants to be the guy to beat Granola and has like this very stingy, like it's me or nothing saying attitude, and I'll fucking kill you afterwards. Goku, don't get in my goddamn way. And there's like this moment where Goku kind of shouts out what I was thinking anyway. Cause like, this is a very regressive moment for Vegeta. This is not like new Vegeta. And this is like Cell Saga Vegeta, where he's like, yeah, once I kill him, you're next, bitch. Same kind of vibe. And the idea of Vegeta to have that now, given everything that they've gone through, doesn't really make sense to me, but doesn't make sense to Goku either. And he calls it out. He's like, you've picked a real inconvenient time to have this old attitude pop up.
I just felt like it was because he was what I was saying earlier. He was just trying to accept this fight.
What do you mean? Like, accept that it was just Vegeta's fight? Like, because he goes on to say, like, hey, man, it's better for me to die than to team up with you. I don't give a shit. We're not protecting anything together. That's the only reason.
That can also be because of like the form too, like the ego form.
He's not transformed when that happened, man.
Oh, well,
yeah, he's like close to dead. He just got his ass whooped like twice in a row. I don't know. The idea of the authors of the fucking manga calling out the fact that this is a very inconvenient moment for Vegeta to suddenly regress to a character arc that he had 20 fucking years ago. I just thought it was pretty funny. Like, they know that they're kind of writing some shit right now. Some shit. And that was their way of calling it out to us in the audience. Yeah, better to die than to team up with you. We're not going to protect something. So Goku does manage to get back in on the fight when Vegeta's knocked away. And I think they only did this for the purpose of showcasing the fact that Goku can, like, as he always has done, overcome the gap in the fighting style of his opponent. He can learn it very quickly. And in this case, it's demonstrated by his shifting of his vitals so that Granola can't, give him the one-hit KO. And it's done so well because, like, the first time he does it, he, like, moves slightly out of the way and catches dude's wrist. And he's like, huh, you missed me, bitch. I'm still conscious. And then he explains all of that to him. He's like, yeah, it wasn't going to work on me the whole time. And before you know it, boom, punches him right in the back of the neck, and he's face down in the water. And I'm like, ooh, Goku, you dummy. You big dummy dumb. But then he's not even that dumb because he pops up in the next panel and he's like, gotcha, bitch. That shit's not going to work twice. I've been shifting my vitals around. When you guys heard the term shifting vitals, did you like imagine Goku like shifted his kidney to the left internally in his body?
Yes, I absolutely did. I was like, I literally said, I was like, and this is when this is when Goku has become too fucking OP.
He's moving around his kidneys and shit.
Right, but it also kind of made me think about with Hit, sort of. It made me kind of recall back to the moment where Goku was fighting Hit in the tournament, where he was trying to like Vegeta was like, I don't know how he hit me. And then Goku was like watching somewhat closely and everyone else was like, oh, he can stop time and go back. And when he did hit Goku, he hit him in his vitals. So in a sense, I felt like Goku kind of after, getting his ass beat, he was like, okay, this is kind of like Hit, but different.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like the same, but a little bit different.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like that whole, like him being able to think while he fought was reminiscent to that whole Hit situation. But the thing about the Hit situation, someone told him what to do, kind of like told him what was being done.
Right.
But then he had to adapt to be able to whatever, like think
he had to do.
however many seconds in the future. Like, I know I'm going to do this move, which would expose me to this fucking kind of attack. So I need to know how to defend this. Like, that's the way they explained it with that hit battle. It was actually really cool, but like also very convoluted.
If I remember correctly, I think they did the same sort of thing in Hunter x Hunter with the old man. He like moved his heart from one side to the other or some shit.
Yeah.
Rayshawn, that's your shit. Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I fucks with Hunter x Hunter.
It goes crazy.
Old man shifts his heart from one side to the other.
When he's fighting that Cell dude, or whatever the dude that looks like Cell's name is. When they had that big fight, the old man versus
Are you talking about the? Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
King.
Okay, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Didn't he say that he like could shift his heart? He could move his organs around or his vitals around?
Yeah, I think it was. He's not human. I don't think. I forgot what he was.
He was the head of the Hunters.
He was just like a bunch of the ants and all the collectives combined together, the strongest like fighters combined together.
No, he's talking about the old guy, aren't you?
Yeah, the old guy. Yeah, he was the head of the Hunters, and it's the ocean.
Oh, never mind.
I can't think of. He's like, I can't think of exactly what he is and what allows him to do that. But
It was his training.
Do you guys want to start a Hunter x Hunter podcast?
Yes.
I mean, are you gonna watch it?
At this point, Vegeta tags back in after Goku. Like, he gets up out that puddle, and then he's like, I learned all this shit. And then he gets knocked the fuck back out again. Not knocked out, but knocked away over to where Vegeta is. Vegeta tags back in, and he makes the plea. Like, this is my battle. I think that because he hasn't accessed this level of power before, he's not going to be able to last much longer either. And that's when Goku gives him that line that we saw in the scans last week. Whatever, dude, just try not to die. And I'm like, ooh, no, what if Vegeta dies? Vegeta approaches the battle again. He goes back into his Ultra Ego form very easily. Like, he barely takes any damage at all before he taps back into Ultra Ego.
And which surprised Granola.
Totally surprised Granola, but like, he just says, I told you, idiot, it's boundless. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they did say that last chapter. It's boundless. So I guess it makes sense. At which point in this battle, they get kicked through the barrier to the city, the main city on Planet Cereal. And they're fighting and they're breaking some shit, ruining some structures. And Vegeta says it again. He's like, oh, now you're fine with ruining, the place that you grew up, the place that you've tried to protect, your life, like pieces of your life. You're fine with ruining this now. And Granola kind of goes back to, I don't want to say softy version, but he very much is like mindful of things all of a sudden when he wasn't in the last couple of chapters. And that was like a notable, that was a notable descent in his character from like, I don't know, neutral to fucking full on villain. He just suddenly did not give a shit about the city that he was protecting. And we see that come back a little bit in this chapter.
That's what I really like.
The difference because one was like an empty city and then one had people in it. So I thought it was just kind of difference in that term.
I mean, I think it's the same city, but like he doesn't realize because what's about to happen is he'll, a building will break and he'll see a mother and a son, Shigarian, trying to find cover and be safe. And he'll have this flashback, but I'm pretty sure he thought the city was mostly evacuated. Like, we've seen these Shigarians like literally drive their fucking cars out of this city over the last few chapters.
Well, you know how
Go ahead.
I was gonna be like, how on Earth the people still be at home and shit. So
they're like, oh, this happened last Tuesday. Next Wednesday, we're gonna have a monster attack.
Godzilla's coming again. Fuck that. I'm not evacuating to the bomb
Godzilla
shelter.
ain't got shit on me.
I'd be like, Cell came last year and then somehow we were back the next day. I'm gonna just ride that shit out.
I mean, honestly, I actually really like that part when like Vegeta called him out, like saying, oh, now you care. It was like I liked it because it showed that Granola himself, like, he was becoming so obsessed with just defeating the Saiyans. And then when he got into the city, like, it was a big bluff, I kind of felt like Like he was like, "Oh, I don't really care," and maybe it was agitating him some bit during the fight, and that's what caused more of that anger. But like the fact that when he saw the family and he had that, which of course, Kyle, you'll probably say in a minute, but when he has a flashback, it's like for him it hit home, and he's like, "No, I don't want to do the same exact thing," because it's like he's turning into the villain.
Yeah.
And maybe that was
Yeah.
like sort of that call to action moment for him.
So he was basically becoming the thing he hated most.
Exactly.
That's what I said last month with that whole Batman quote. That was exactly what I said last. Remember how I said last month, you live long enough to become the villain? That's what's happening to Granola.
The Harvey Dent shit. Word, I got you.
Oh, yeah, that is, I guess.
So what I like about this flashback, like what triggers it, you know, seeing the Shigarians, obviously that's what triggers it. But this battle, this quick little segment of the battle that he has with Vegeta, I just want to stop to point out that Vegeta at a certain point in his desperation, straight up just bites Granola's wrist and like has a real, dare I say it, Goku moment. And just kind of latches on to dude, and you know, he gets tossed away or whatever. I bring that up because I'm going to ask you guys your opinion on that bite and the whole seemingly, you know, role reversal thing these two dudes have going on in this chapter. Throat, as Granola has this freak out flashback as he scares this Shigarian mother and child. Has this flashback and remembers this scene wherein he's fleeing the city while the Saiyans destroy it, gets back to some kind of safe location, and we see Granola's mom, dude. That was pretty cool. Honestly, as much beef as I've had with this chapter, one of my favorite parts about this chapter was the visual for this flashback. They do a really nice job transitioning it to Granola, like having his little trauma moment as an adult, to him turning and seeing the flashback of the Saiyan warriors destroying the city, little kid running. It's a beautifully drawn page. If you haven't seen it, probably because you don't follow us on Instagram at DB Superdope. Go follow us so you can see what I think about this stupid shit when it comes out each month on or around the 20th.
I was surprised Vegeta was able to survive the 2 pumes to the face.
Dude, he got like multiple pew, pew, pew. Also, I like to imagine that Granola says pew, pew, pew as he shoots these little finger blasts into Vegeta's throat. But it's like point blank into his throat. I honestly thought I thought he was going to die. I thought he was dead.
That's a Team 4-star reference.
Or at least some more damage or something.
Wait, did I do a Team 4-star reference by accident?
Yes.
What was it? Pew, pew?
Yeah, because there's a point where Krillin and Trunks are like looking for Dr. Gero.
Mm-hmm.
And so Krillin's like, do you ever just like when you shoot at things, like do you ever just like imagine it being like a alien blaster or something? And then they just go pew 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 pew. Woo.
Oh,
I have a real weird love-hate relationship with Team 4-star. Everyone who listens to this show for a long time knows that. But you know, Masako X, he was nice enough to come on Super Dope one time. That was great. Remember that, guys? I remember.
Wait, you talked to Masako?
Yeah.
Damn, no.
Love that dude.
You famous.
Links in the show notes. Although I will preface the whole thing with I was so nervous to interview him that I didn't set up my microphones correctly when I interviewed him on Discord. Usually I would have, at that point in time, I would have done most of my remote stuff on Skype. This was before COVID. But he was like, let's do it on Discord. And I was like, all right, fine. And then I didn't fucking set my mics up properly. So my area microphone on my laptop is what picks up my voice. So I sound like asshole, but Masako X sounds great. And yeah, it was a very fun learning experience on how to set up your mics properly in Discord. That's what I learned that day. Anyway, yeah, he gets all the pew pews to the throat. They have the flashback, but Vegeta does manage to get up and kind of tries to talk some sense back into Granola. Kind of kind of like appeals to him, and he's like, listen, the only reason that you've lived this long could not have been to just get revenge on the Saiyans. Like, surely there's something else that, your life has amounted to, basically. And I'm like, God damn, Vegeta, you ain't no god of destruction. You're a pure being trying to appeal to his humanity. How nice of you. That's beautiful.
I feel like you only do that when you getting your ass whooped. That's when you start to appeal to someone's emotion.
Don't talk shit about Vegeta. He's a good guy.
I just feel like that's the only time you start doing that.
You're probably not wrong. But this dude, he knows how to play the game, dude. Like, he knows how to navigate a battle, the ins and outs. And sometimes you just got to talk shit and be like, you're better than this. Please don't kill me. You're meant to amount to more than this. Please don't eviscerate my ass, because you're about to if you pew me in the throat a few more times. But instead, Granola just is like very upset at the fact that Vegeta's still even like alive, which I thought was hilarious. And he's like, all right, fuck it. Here goes everything into trying to destroy you finally. And this is when one of my theories from the last few months kind of...
I did have one thing I disliked. We're almost there.
All right.
I'll let you say that.
So this is when he gets charged up to do this blast on Vegeta, and he like says it in a way where he's like, I'm going to not waste. That's not the right word. I'm going to utilize all the power that I have left in my body, all the time that's left on me. And I'll see you in hell, and I'll fight Frieza in hell. Like, I don't give a shit anymore. And I was like, ooh, that means if he burns through his power too quickly, like, he's probably going to shorten that 3-year time span that they've talked about over the last few chapters. So I thought that was an interesting little confirmation for something I've been thinking about anyway. But he charges up this blast to send Vegeta to hell.
That's when you get like that little Vegeta speech, him not being like on the same level as Beerus or some shit. And I thought that was character growth. I thought that showed he having character growth.
See, I don't know, man. I don't doubt, or like, I don't contest that is some kind of growth for him, but it's hard to equate that as actual growth to Vegeta when they've done so much regressive shit on what his character has been. I mean, the only thing that you can kind of like get a permission slip with in this arc is the fact, and they brought it up again in this chapter, is the fact that Vegeta could fight uninhibited because he doesn't feel like he is having to protect something. Like, he's on a foreign planet. All he has to do is beat the person in front of him. He doesn't have to work with Goku and sacrifice his pride to protect the greater good and his family or whatever. So the fact that they kind of keep bringing that back, and then Granola has this moment, I don't know. It just feels like I think I said it earlier. Like, it feels like we're dealing with Cell Saga Vegeta at certain points in this arc, where he's just, I don't know, like his reasoning kind of goes out the window. Like, we thought you were beyond this shit, and now you're just going back to that for what? Really, only for the sake of like having something happen in the next chapter, which is exactly why I don't fucking like this chapter. It's like, dude, we've already seen you do this shit. We're just watching you go backwards a little bit, so that way we have another thing to have happen this chapter. You know what I mean?
What if, like, I felt like maybe his power works on like a certain mindset. Like, he has to have a certain mindset to even activate that power. So like, when he's not like in that mindset, like, his power goes down. Like, that's what I was kind of thinking.
I mean, that kind of lends itself to the idea of Ultra Ego and like him taking damage and stuff to be able to access this new form and like become like uninhibited in his rage and all that shit. Like, I guess that kind of...
Because I mean, like, when Beerus was like, when he was teaching him, he was like, you have to think about nothing but just destruction.
But for whatever reason, despite him being on this planet where he doesn't have to fucking protect anybody, anyone, anything, he's still trying to appeal to Granola's emotions.
See, that's why I think that's the conflict to it. That's the conflict. That's why I'm thinking like he's getting to the point where he can't just destroy things anymore. Now he thinks about the people. Now he thinks about the other stuff, which he keeps saying like, oh, now we don't have to worry about that because we're on another planet. But he's still worrying about that.
it's a level of growth to his fucking humanity, which I get it. Like, yeah, you hit the fucking note. I get it. Vegeta tries to appeal to this dude's humanity, and that's why he's not truly able to inhabit like this full god of destruction form or whatever. He can't throw all of the cares away. He's trying to appeal to this dude's humanity. Here's the thing. Vegeta's already been a nice guy for most of the last decade now. So this is not a fucking shock to me. It's not some big moment of character growth or development for me because I've already seen him do things like this in the past. But I do understand that this is what they very intentionally were trying to go for there. It's like, oh, look at Vegeta. He's too good of a guy to be a full god of destruction. He's kind of nice. He gives a shit about people. Like, yeah, no shit, he gives a shit about people. We know this already. He's moved beyond this. Why have him go back 20 fucking years in terms of his morals or whatever, just to be able to say, hey, remember, he's a nice guy. He cares about this granola fella.
But what if that's like
stupid and bad writing?
But what if that's like how Beerus thinks?
What do you mean?
Like, what if like that's the mindset like Beerus has? Like, he's always like savage. Like, that's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to get at now.
Well, I will tell you that the only reason that Vegeta does not die in this chapter, because I thought he was going to, and honestly, if Vegeta died in this arc, that would have been the only fucking way to like have made this moment truly pay off. If he tried to appeal to dude's humanity and then dude murdered him in cold fucking blood as he charged up that blast, that would have been very satisfying, gratifying.
I would like to see the Goku reaction.
Me too, especially because Goku's gone so out of his way in this chapter to save Vegeta like 2 or 3 times. Like, to see Goku truly react to Vegeta's death. Because when was the last time that Goku... Oh, Planet Namek, right? That was the last time Goku saw Vegeta die. Yeah. And that was like, 25, 30 years ago in terms of this canon. No,
or technically he died in the revival of Frieza arc too, but that was more like a...
temporal... We got a temporal rewind.
Yeah.
Does he watch him explode himself, or is he back in Otherworld at that point?
He's in Otherworld. But he didn't know what's going on.
Yeah, but I guess he watches it, right?
Yeah.
Versus him being there in person. Either way, doesn't fucking matter because a dude totally survives because as Granola's charging up this blast, in flies a plane.
Okay, this is the part I didn't like. How the fuck did the plane move faster than Goku? This makes no sense to me. Is it because
Goku's got a hole in him, dude?
He can teleport and he's like as fast as fucking light. It just makes no sense that the plane beat him to there, in my opinion.
I mean, I like that that's the thing that you get caught up on and not all the rest of the shit that we've talked about over the last hour. But yeah.
Like, that's just the only thing that, like, when I read that, I was like, how the fuck is that even possible? Like, I would have, as a Saiyan, I would have been mad. Like, damn, that shit can move faster than me? Like,
because Granola's got Tony Stark technology.
Yeah. So Oatmeal is definitely an AI, right? Like, we all, the jury's been a little out. We mostly knew that it was an AI a few months back. Then Toyotaro did that interview with the Dragon Ball Online website, whatever the heck it is. And he said, like, he's more important than you think. He's not just there to talk to Granola, which we'll come back to.
See, that makes you think, like, who created him? Because it couldn't have been Granola.
Probably not, yeah.
Tony Stark.
Or maybe it is a person, like, in a different area somewhere.
Could still be a person, who knows? Like, just controlling the spaceship or whatever. But
funny thing would be if it was Frieza.
Yo,
no, I saw it somewhere written that he's a robot. It might have been in those dot points that I sent you the other day, those spoiler ones.
Yeah, it seems like he is in fact a robot. But for whatever reason, he seems to be a robot with some level of
consciousness,
like morality, like right and wrong. Like, otherwise, he wouldn't have tried to talk Granola out of what he was doing. He wouldn't have rushed Monaito to the battlefield, because that's what's happening. Oatmeal piloting this plane or whatever has Monaito on board. Monaito looks out the window and sees Goku and says, "Ooh, That motherfucker looks familiar. Could it be? And I'm like, what do you mean, could it be? You never met this guy before. What do you mean, could it be?
If he just been fueling up Granola just like this whole time, like, yeah, fuck them Saiyans, fuck them Saiyans. Then you see Goku and be like, oh, wait.
Yeah. We're gonna get there basically in one second. So Monaito interrupts the fight, says like, don't kill dude. There actually is one Saiyan that does not deserve like your vengeance or whatever. So we were saved by a Saiyan named Bardock, which we talked about on the pre-show. Like, it's Bardock with an O, but translated specifically for the comic book, they translate it with a U for whatever reason. It's not a different person. Rayshawn, you fucking theory crafting asshole.
I feel like GB created that, and I just went with it.
In my personal opinion on it, I'll just say this. Judging that this has been so many years, many years ago, that he probably did mess up the name. That Monaito probably said Bardock, and then he's like, or is it Bardock, or is it whatever his name is?
No,
like,
dude, it's a translation. It's a manga versus anime translation. That's all it is. There's nothing to read into here.
I mean, it's spelled like that on the Dragon Ball Z fandom page, Bardock.
Yeah.
Bardock. So maybe that's how it's spelled over there type shit.
Yeah, there's nothing to read into here. It's Bardock, Goku's dad. Whether we spell it with a U or an O, the same person.
But I did actually like that part. I really did like just going back a little. In regards to the whole Vegeta bite, I guess we'll call it that now, the Vegeta Goku bite.
Oh yeah.
The best storage in the universe. But it was kind of nice to see, and I kind of like that Vegeta is kind of, well, basically what I like is that Vegeta's kind of going back and forth with his own humanity of basically saying like it's just like a regular human, that how we tend to go back and forth on some things. Like maybe we do like something and then we don't like it, and then we may like it, think about it later and don't like it. It's like it keeps that humanity, which like you said, Kyle, and I really loved it. Now going to what we're just talking about, I feel like Oatmeal, right? That was her name or its name.
Yep.
Oatmeal.
Yep, the AI robot. It could be a person. It's probably not, but it could be.
I think it might be an AI, but I think the weird thing is that it's going to be something maybe a little bit unexpected still. That's something maybe a little more than just like what we're thinking as like the AI that just helps him out.
I'm glad you said that. I still think that it's an AI, but the Toyotaro comment that he made in that interview last month, or in that Dragon Ball, whatever the fuck interview, right? He says something to the effect of like, he's there for more than just Granola to talk to. So that kind of he brings Monaito to the battlefield, right? That's no small feat in this story. Like, it's important that Monaito shows up, but also I can't imagine that that's Oatmeal's only role in the rest of this story. So my problem with the Bardock thing, I feel like it's similar to how at the end of the Zamasu Goku Black arc, they had Vegeta Blue show up. And it was cool to see Vegeta again. It was cool to see Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. It was some excellent fan service, but in the grand scheme of everything, Vegeta Blue could not have shown up in that arc, and it wouldn't have changed a goddamn thing. It was just a fan service moment that was a precursor to them not being able to successfully end the arc, so much to the point that they have to bring in Zeno to hit the erase button and erase that universe, because they just didn't know where to go with it. So it's been a recurring opinion of mine on most Dragon Ball Super arcs is that they all start really, really good, and they don't know how to land the fucking plane. And this, I think, is shaping up to be another example of that. So in this story today, they tell us that Monaito, Granola, the last survivors of their respected race on planet Cereal, the last Cerealian, the last Namekian on that planet. They tell us today that they were saved by a Saiyan named Bardock, and it's like, oh shit, that's Goku's dad. Holy wild, that's bananas. And like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the fact that they continue to try to work in pieces of the greater Dragon Ball world lore into what they're currently doing. It's cool to have that tie back, but I ultimately have to ask myself, like, why? You know, and I guess the why in this case would be like, given the fact that they are very specific on the timeline of 40 years ago, this happened. And we know that Goku is like just a little over 40 years old or whatever. I have to imagine that this is going to ultimately be the precursor to Bardock going back to planet Vegeta, sending his son to Earth and trying to overtake Frieza. And the catalyst will be, I saved this little boy on this planet we were trying to exterminate. I double-crossed my Saiyan comrades or whatever. And, you know, this is what has inspired me to try to save my own son and try to overthrow Frieza and the hierarchy that we have here on planet Vegeta, because it's all a bunch of bullshit. Okay, that's all cool. What I just outlined to you guys is about as good as it can get. And I'm not even mad that it's there. My question is like, do you think that this is going to factor in to like the next part of this arc or the next part of this story? Or do you think that this is just simply a fan service moment like I do? Like, there are some people out there who are like, yo, Bardock, clap Granola's mom's cheeks. There's another little baby Granola Bardock hybrid out there we're going to see in the future. Also, Bardock fucks all these other people. He fucked up some Cerealians. Like the idea of Bardock maybe coming back with like the Super Dragon Balls or the Dragon Balls on Planet Cereal. Like, all of these things are things that I've seen floated in the last few days that I fucking know aren't going to happen. They're not going to happen. That would be so fucking stupid. Imagine Goku and Bardock meeting each other. I can't, because it's not going to happen. But we might see the idea of Bardock, or excuse me, we may see Goku learn about Bardock in the next chapter through Monaito's memory. And that's where I think Oatmeal might come in and be like, hey, I was an AI 40 years ago, and I remember Bardock, and I can tell you that Bardock is definitely your dad or whatever, because otherwise there'd be no fucking way to tie Bardock back unless little kid Vegeta's memory is that good. I've thought a lot about this over the last week. Let me start with you. GB, what do you think of Bardock's inclusion in this chapter? Yay or nay, and why?
I liked it. I really liked it. The only reason why, I mean, of course, I was just throwing jokes, just the meme, because literally it's funny to see Kyle pissed off. It's absolutely hilarious.
I'm not even that pissed. I just went on a 5-minute diatribe by myself in silence because I'm not even that mad.
Yeah, sure. That you tell yourself that every day. Okay. But personally, I like it because this is something that I have said, and you can even go back and listen to the Moro arcs. How like they're bringing stuff, expanding the universe, so to speak, where they're bringing things back from the past in a sense. Like, remember, Moro was defeated by the
Daikaioshin. That's the only thing that that's the exact example that I would use for the Moro arc. I'm like, yo, you want a fan service moment for the Moro arc? Here's the Daikaioshin. Remember him? How does the Daikaioshin ultimately factor into the end of the Moro arc? Oh yeah, he fucking doesn't.
Well,
exactly, but
doesn't he help with the final attack by getting what's his name to donate
energy?
Yep.
Oh, dude, you're right, Rayshawn. Yep. Way to call me out on that shit.
He called you out. He called you out. He said, I got facts.
Do you think somebody else could have gone there and asked Oop for his help, though? Actually, probably not.
No, because no one would have really known.
Because he'd been the only one that would have known.
And
All
plus,
right, all right, good call, good call.
to be fair, too, Dai Kaioshin is technically in Boo, and Boo would probably be the only other person to know his own energy, or Kid Boo's own energy, or Evil Boo, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, going back into that, and then even just like Rayshawn said, that it like just, you know, hey, give a little bit of energy. I like that. I personally like the story building, because I always, one thing whenever I get into a series is I always want to know more about, why is this world the way it is? How did it become this? And that's probably one of the big reasons why I love Naruto to this day. But besides that, what I really liked about this was it's the fact that we're going to learn more about, I mean, of course, we always knew Saiyans are the people that like, yar, we're going to rampage your city and planet and destroy it as real estate. You know, they're the realtors,
Space pirates, but not like
they were
BoJack,
space
like a
realtors.
different
So I
kind.
gotta. Was that something the Saiyans wanted to do, or was that something Frieza made the Saiyans do?
I feel like the Saiyans were kind of already up to that shit, but then Frieza came in and was like, yo, here's some new equipment. And also, I'm going to rule you guys now. And if you don't like it, I'll kill you.
Oh, sorry. Meant King Cold.
Yeah.
Because King Cold, you got to put respect on his name.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what happened, because the Saiyans met the Arcosians, and they formed a deal giving the Saiyans the technology to travel far and wide.
Would you call them the Arcosians?
Yeah, that's the story King Kai told Goku when he went to King Kai's planet the first time.
And the
Goku's
Arcosians are that's not Frieza's people.
That's not Frieza's people, but that's
Okay.
who gave them the technology to go to different planets, the space pods. And then obviously after that, Frieza would have, King Cole would have been like, well, these guys can go do this for me. I'll just go overrule them. And they work for me.
And Frieza gave them the eye little things.
The scouters, the upgrade scouters.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that we have our Dragon Ball historian, Reese Andriotis from Australia, mate.
I remember that name, Tarkosian, from Dragon Ball. I just can't remember.
I don't. And I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was like 6.
They look like those little dudes from Star Wars with the yellow eyes and the little fucking
Jawas.
Yeah, they look like them but taller.
One thing I was getting at, I'm thinking like I'm at that point where I'm going when you was talking about Kyle, when you were like, you don't know if Frieza actually gonna make an appearance. I'm starting to think that too now, because I'm thinking like, is there even a reason for Frieza to come now?
No, I think Frieza's completely served his purpose in this arc without ever having to show up. And that kind of actually perfectly brings us to our next segment.
Hey, where the fuck Frieza at? Boy, shut your mouth when I tell you about making all that daggone noise. What the hell is wrong with you?
So I don't think Frieza's going to show up at all. Reese, what do you think, man? Do you think Frieza's showing up?
Well, I don't know. I personally think he's going to do the whole cameo thing that I've always said the whole time. He'll come in at the end after the resolve of everything and kill fucking Elect. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Frieza has eyes and ears everywhere, so he could know what's going on right now. And if he is close enough, he could also sense what the fuck's going on because of the high energy that's fucking being emitted off the planet. But knowing him, he's probably just fucking doing his own thing, building his empire. Could be going after the universal Dragon Balls. Or he could, which is something I hope, is chilling on his own home planet. And fucking we see a whole fucking planet of Frieza people and we find out what the fuck they are.
That'd be fucking weird.
That would be cool as fuck, but I don't think we're that lucky to see something that inspired. But it would be funny to have Frieza make a cameo at the end and be like, thanks for keeping each other distracted.
You think Frieza would have killed his race? I feel like he would have killed his race.
I think King Cold would have killed the race.
You think King Cold would have?
Yeah, that's how he became king.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he is a cold dude.
Shit's real cold.
Pretty cold-hearted.
So I kind of went out of order with the questions for this thing. I kind of want to run down this question list. We'll do it in rapid fire.
Okay.
We'll start with GB. First question is, for me, I feel like we're coming to a conclusion on this arc when a couple of months ago, even last month, I thought this arc could have extended out like another year, like another 12 chapters easily. Now I feel like we're coming up at the end of it very quickly. What do you think? Are we at the end of this arc?
No, not even the slightest. I think
Okay.
we're still in like the first third. And I think this next chapter is going to start the second third of the chapter, which is going to be probably Granola and the Saiyans versus the Heaters. Or even if it's not Granola and the Saiyans versus the Heaters, it may be Granola versus the Heaters, and then Goku and Vegeta, like maybe somehow trying to like work their way in to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment right there. The idea, and like also, I asked this question, and I'm not really thinking about the fact that so much has been led on about gas, and also there's a Dragon Ball wish to be made on this planet.
I just had a thought. What if what if one of the eaters are actually working with Frieza, and this is actually a plan to get rid of the Saiyans? Like this could actually like.
I feel like Frieza would know better than to send some fucking asshole other than himself to go kill Goku and Vegeta. Like, Frieza spent enough time around these two to know over the last couple of years. To like, it's not going to take some jerk off space pirate with a fucking thing of dreads to kill Goku and Vegeta. Like, he's got to do it himself.
Frieza wouldn't let anyone else kill Goku
unless they introduce a canon Bojack.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, Bojack designs, I think, very much have an influence on the Heaters. I bet you when Alec is animated or put into a color manga, whatever comes first, because Dragon Ball Super, contrary to popular belief, is not actually in production in Japan over the last 3 years, despite what some popular YouTubers may or may not have told you. But I do bet you when Alec is animated or colored, I bet you he's got blue skin and orange hair. 100%, like Bojack vibes all day.
Definitely.
I can see that.
Or great grandfather Bojack.
Yeah, same kind of idea. And then they'll be like, yeah, well, Alec just got their ass kicked and his whole gang, but we're gonna go get our bigger, better friend, and that's how they make Bojack canon. The next movie is Bojack, not Dragon Ball Superhero, that stupid fucking titled movie, but the movie after that is the movie where they make Bojack canon.
When they call it Dragon Ball Super Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Super Ultimate Dragon Ball Quest for the Bojack Life Force or something like that. How stupid is that I just said out loud?
That sounds better than all the titles they have used lately.
Dragon Ball Super Broly, you weren't a fan of that? What do you mean? Okay. So, Reese, do you think that this is the end of the arc or no?
I think that we're concluding the first part of the arc, which is Granola and the Saiyans. I think the second part is going to be a fight against the Heaters, against Gas, while Alexa finding the Dragon Ball to make his wish. And then the third part's going to be the consequence of the wish that fucking Alex's going to make. And Granola's not going to survive to the end.
What I like about both of your answers so far is that none of them involve Bardock. Rayshawn, what do you got next, dude? What do you think? Do you think that this could be the end of this arc, or?
No, I think this is going to go well past January. So, what I think we're probably going past the first part of this, and we're getting ready into the second part. I do think we're going to fight the Heaters. That part, I'm conflicted on what can Frieza actually do in this arc, because how I'm getting to the point is that we're already about to have the character change in Granola with this information about to be told to him from Monaito. So I don't see what important Frieza would have, because you would think the only reason Frieza would come would to be able to help his character in some way or not. So I don't know. And I don't really see like a real reason for Goku and Vegeta to go after Frieza. So it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. It really, to me, it depends on the wish, because we keep thinking the wish is for them to be able to beat Granola, but it might not be that. It might just be something they need for him to just burn that energy.
No, I could see the wish being something like, I want to be the strongest now. And like by default, that makes me stronger than Granola. I could see that being the wish very, very easily, because they've already had, like, the Heaters have already seen what Granola is capable of since he's made that wish. And they could just be like, well, if that's how they work, just make me one stronger than that dude.
See, like the main mastermind dude, like the main dude, like the group leader, I don't see him killing himself off.
No, I mean, I think I said it last month. Like, I could see Gas putting up a good fight, maybe having some kind of fusion thing happen. But I could also see Alec making the wish for himself to make himself the one more powerful than Granola, or the strongest in the universe or whatever. Yeah, I don't think we're at the end of this arc, but like you just gave the time frame of January. Like, I could see this arc wrapping up by January very easily, and still thinking that it wrapped up pretty soon. Like, the one thing that's not in play on the battleground right now is the Hitas. That's it. And we know that they already have the Dragon Ball radar, and probably already have at least one of all two of these fucking Dragon Balls. They're going to make this wish.
Is it like a secret password they gonna need or something? I wonder if they're gonna do that bullshit again.
I don't know, man. I can't remember when Granola made the wish initially.
Cerulean or something.
Yeah, I can't remember if he had to do a backwards thing or whatever. Maybe he did, but I can picture this Monaito entering the battlefield to drop knowledge about Bardock thing.
That's going to be at least 2 chapters.
To me, anyway. Yeah, it was the entirety of this chapter because of the spoilers, in my opinion. Like, this chapter, like, we didn't have a chapter this month, to me, because it got fucking spoiled before anything came out. All of it.
Sure.
And also, I'm a little biased because I don't think it's particularly fucking good writing. But next month, we're going to have a big old Bardock discussion. And that's me saying that before we have any leaks or drafts at all. So you can already start to pencil in your predictions for the month of November, because October is going to basically be nothing. Because again, I don't think Bardock's going to factor into this story outside of the fact that he saved.
I mean, it's not like he's still alive.
Who the fuck did he save? He didn't save Granola's mom. We know that bitch is dead. He saved Granola and Monaito.
He had to save Monaito or something.
Great. He saved 2 fucking people, went back to Planet Vegeta, tried to fight Frieza, got killed. Like, this is going to be the most super inconsequential prequel to the fucking Dragon Ball minus shit that everybody already hates anyways. It's pointless. It makes me mad that they wasted a fucking chapter. It makes me feel like they didn't know what to do this month.
Would you rather them have brought just another unnamed Saiyan in?
I'd rather them have not involved this whole thing. We got saved by a Saiyan thing at all.
So you don't even like that whole concept?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Because here's my other question.
Why doesn't Granola know?
If Monaito was saved by Granola way back then, and he's like literally the only reason dude's still alive, and Monaito has lived in a house with Granola for the last 40 years, and he knows that Granola has got a particularly hard on for his revenge against the Saiyans, why would he just let his fucking friends stew there in misery and be like, yeah, continue to hate on the Saiyans and continue to carry out that life dream of exterminating them?
You know they're going to just say he forgot the shock, the fear.
No.
And then when he seen Goku, he remembered.
No. And then if he did forget, he always has Oatmeal, the fucking AI, to remind him. Like, but you know what, dude? What you just said, I bet you that will be the level of explanation we get. Like, oops, I forgot. I was traumatized. It was the planet was getting destroyed. I couldn't remember everything, but then I saw Goku and my whole memories were clear. Just like we saw with My Hero Academia the other day. Tomoe Shigaraki couldn't remember fucking killing his fucking family or whatever, but then boom, spoilers. But then boom, suddenly remembers when he fucking meets so-and-so or whatever. Stupid.
I mean, so, well, how they be trying to explain that is like you do something so traumatic that you try your hardest to try to forget it. Oh, maybe.
Maybe we'll see what happens, but I know that I have a couple more questions for you guys before I wrap it up.
All right.
So we saw Goku play the savior role several times today throughout the chapter, and then we saw Vegeta do the Goku thing and bite somebody, which we've never seen Vegeta do. He's typically too proud, but we've seen Goku bite literally pretty much all of the major antagonists of Dragon Ball over the last 30 years. So, what do you guys think? Is this like a clear demonstration of role reversal? Reese, we'll start with you. Do you think Vegeta's about to prove himself to be the hero of this chapter, or am I seeing shit?
First off, I just think Goku was doing his normal thing, which is watching Vegeta fight and learning what his opponent can do. He did it in Battle of Gods, so he'll do it again.
It's a nice point.
Vegeta biting fucking Granola was just fucking funny. I wish he did it to Frieza though. That would be even better. I think that this is Vegeta's time to shine because, like he keeps saying, like, I don't have to give a fuck about anything. I don't have to protect anything. I can go all out and just enjoy this fight. And that's all he gives a fuck about is just enjoying himself.
Good point, man.
And, like, he just gets sick of Goku fucking always stepping in, like he did with Frieza, like he's done with every fight. He's like, oh, Kakarot, you're stepping in again. Get the fuck out of the way and let me have my fight.
At certain points in this arc, I've thought to myself, like, Toriyama and Toyotaro, whatever combination of the two, realized their error in Fakatsu no F by having Goku be the one to ultimately finish it when it would have been way more satisfying to have Vegeta do it.
Yeah, that was the biggest contact.
It was. And I think that this might kind of be like their way to apologize or make up for it. This is their redemption arc by like letting a race that the Saiyans basically made go extinct, who want revenge on them, who want to extract revenge on the remaining Saiyans, Goku, Vegeta, whatever. And having Vegeta be the one to show up and fucking say, nah, fuck that. We are a proud Saiyan warrior race. This is bullshit. I'm not having the same shit happen to me today that happened to me in Fakatsu no F. You know what I mean?
I don't think this is the first time I don't think Vegeta wants to kill someone. He just wants to win. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like the fact that they're both ready to completely die at the end of this chapter to be able to claim the dub. Like Vegeta's ready to subside to death, and Granola's ready to burn up the last of his power or whatever.
He'll die for the fight, but he's not willing to actually kill. Like, he hasn't done anything to show that or say that he wants to kill him like he has with every other person.
I'm surprised none of them have just blown up the planet yet.
That's honestly a Frieza dick move.
I mean, they both have the inhabitants of the planet in the forefront of their mind. Like, that makes sense to me. Vegeta's not a bad dude trying to blow up planets, even though he's been like very much on the train of like, I don't have to protect anything. I don't give a shit. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's like
he's not a dickhead. Like he's not regressed back to the point of the Cell Saga. Like some of the writing in this chapter would lead you to believe he's still a pretty like evolved dude in terms of like the compassion that he can extend to other living people.
Yeah, because he had a conflict within himself of trying to go back to that person that he was in the Cell Saga, or as in Margin Vegeta, and he says that when he talks to himself, apologizing to Beerus.
Well, GB, give me a yes or a no. Do you think Vegeta is going to actually get the win on this arc, or what?
No.
All right. Your conventional Dragon Ball wisdom is
no one's going to get the win.
Oh, okay.
The person who's going to get the win is probably just the fans.
I'm very upset. Like, I've gone into a very serious depression over the last 10 days since these spoilers came out, and I realized that I just wasted another month of my life covering this stupid fucking story that makes literally zero goddamn sense, where they continue to retread on the progress that characters have made in the past that I saw back in 1996, just to have them bring that shit back up again in 2021. So 1996, 2021. Somebody do the math. 15 years? That's a lot of years, man. You got to make me relive that same kind of trauma. 26 years, dude. You're going to bring back the same kind of character beats that Vegeta had during the Majin Buu arc in Dragon Ball Z just to get another chapter out of me? Like, I'm sorry, dude. This month is bad writing. And hopefully they're able to tie this Bardock thing into something more substantial. But let me get you ready for the sad fucking reality. It's not going to be anything substantial. They're not going to have him come back in time or through the Dragon Balls or whatever the fuck. I've seen a bunch of people pitch.
They're not going to do that.
No.
It's just going to be like a little fan service reference moment. And and that was how they skated by in the month of September 2021. Like, that's how they got by their chapter. Vegeta gets his ass kicked again, just like he did last month. And then, Bardock, though. Any kind of substantial weight into the outcome of this story? Nah, but we reference Bardock, though. This shit is bad writing. I don't care that you all fucking liked it.
Personally, I just think this. I don't necessarily know. I mean, I will give you your opinion, that this is bad writing in a sense, because again, one of the things you can always argue is like, but how do you remember something that was so tragic, like, or traumatic? Like,
how do you remember something that's so traumatic and then not fucking think to the dude that you spend 40 years in a goddamn house with one-on-one to be like, hey, I know you hate these Saiyan people, but actually we were saved by the Saiyan people. That is literally...
Granola forgot too.
There could be a reason that Monaito held this shit back, and there better be a reason, otherwise this makes no sense.
Well, I mean, I guess to sort of tie it in with real world, maybe, but it could be that just we're getting into maybe Granola's humanity, quote unquote, where we're starting to see maybe the reason why he ends up hating it. Maybe this might be the next couple chapters, the next 3, maybe 4 chapters I'd probably say 2 to 3, but 2 to 3 chapters that mention a little bit about Bardock, maybe get a little flashback of what happened. But then also maybe it will be something where we get to see Granola's flashback and maybe a reason why he did forget about it. Maybe the reason why he became a trained assassin, killer, whatever he is. And maybe we get to see that. We don't necessarily know because, of course, obviously we're not Akira Toriyama or Toyotora.
They're coming up with that shit right now.
They are.
Yo, maybe the reason is that they don't actually care at all.
About what?
About the story or Dragon Ball or us fans being pissed off, making podcasts about their bullshit monthly manga that's just a bunch of filler nonsense.
I just think they write as they go. I don't think they have like a storyboard.
They definitely write as they go, but they also, I think they plan out like, I would guess.
You think Bardock was planned it?
I think that, I don't think Bardock was Bardock feels like a spur of the moment thing that they could just like conveniently put in there. But like when Toyotaro 2 months ago is like, oatmeal is more than just blah, blah, blah.
But I mean, that's something you could, I don't know what he's going to be, but he's going to be more than what he looks like.
Everyone's speculating on the idea of Goku about to learn who his dad is. Here's the thing, dude. Unless Monaito is like, yeah, Bardock saved us and he told us that he had a baby that looked just like you, dumbass, back on his planet when he saved us. Or Oatmeal, the AI computer motherfucker who's probably been around for a minute. Maybe they were around back then and they were like, yeah, Bardock, the person who saved us, because he was so great, I could see us doing a full evaluation on who he is. Children, Raditz, Son Goku, or Kakarot, whatever the hell. And then all of a sudden we're like, yo, Goku, Son Goku baby from the Oatmeal computer, they match up. 100% perfect match. I can see some shit like that happening. Just to be like, but Bardock's tied in, so wasn't this cool? Get ready for it, guys. I'm sorry.
I think it'll be something even stupider, like that they've written themselves into a corner and they didn't know how to humanize Granola, so they said, if we say that there was a flashback to remembering that there was a Saiyan that saved him,
But
now that'll
even
bring
then,
him
he
back,
doesn't remember the
that'll calm him
Saiyans.
down.
But
Yeah,
even
but
then,
that's calmed him down now to talk instead of just fucking killing them. You know what I mean? But he stopped from killing Vegeta.
even then, he doesn't have the memory of a Saiyan saving them himself. He's got to go off of the secondhand memory of Monaito, who, by the way, doesn't make any fucking sense, again, that he's managed to keep this a secret from him for whatever reason. So
I think Monaito used him for a weapon, like as a revenge weapon. And then when he found out, you know, the Saiyans and Frieza are dead, he was just like, oh, well, Granola can never get his revenge. He's tough now. Sweet.
Or unless he was somehow passed out.
Was Bardock considered a low class?
yes, he was a low class Saiyan for sure. I don't know. I just think that unless this Bardock thing next chapter ties in to be something way more substantial, like some people have like jumped a million miles forward to be like, oh, they can wish back Bardock with these Dragon Balls or the Super Dragon Balls, and Goku can meet his dad. That's not gonna happen. If it does happen, I'll eat my fucking capsule corp hoodie. Like, not gonna happen. But the idea of him learning about his dad, cool, but like,
So you really trying to figure out how much knowledge they would know about Bardock? Is that what you're really questioning?
no, I don't give a shit, honestly. My biggest problem with the fact that they keep bringing up Bardock, Dragon Ball Minus, early part of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, every time they tell me about how much of a nice guy that Bardock was, apparently, it completely undercuts and negates the transformation that Son Goku went through when he banged his goddamn head and became the savior of Earth. Like, what they're trying to tell me is Bardock was a pretty good guy, even-tempered dude, at least like in the last 3 days of his fucking life. Like, that's the other thing about Bardock. Nothing about Bardock says that he was an independent thinker until like the day before he fucking committed suicide by trying to fucking square up with Frieza. Bardock, not a reliable fucking narrator, in my personal opinion. But every time they try to tell me that he was actually a well-behaved, well-meaning dude, what they do is tell me that Goku, the good-hearted Saiyan from Earth, is actually not that all unique, and that Nappa and Vegeta and Raditz and Turles or whoever else that we've seen in terms of being destructive Saiyans, they're actually the dickheads. Yeah, they're the dickheads. And that Goku's a real nice guy just following the footsteps of his dad, and that he's not really that unique of a character at all because he's just following up on what his daddy did. It completely undercuts the unique nature of what Goku is. It's fucking stupid and lazy to continue to bring him back. But Toriyama saw that Bardock special back in 1991, jerked off all over it, and was like, I'm going to make it my own when I bring it back. And a Jocko fucking B-side of a manga, and then again in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and then now again in this arc, because we didn't already know about how good of a dude he'd become. We need it demonstrated for a third time. This is piss poor writing, and I'm genuinely fucking pissed at how lazy and uninspired it is. Like, this isn't going to factor into the final arc or the final outcome of this shit at all. It's not. It's just there to be able to say, hey, Goku knows about his dad now. Isn't that cool? Haven't you thought about that a bunch since you were a little kid? Cool. That's cool, right? Sorry we didn't have a better idea for the chapter this month. It's just Vegeta getting the shit kicked out of him again and somebody acknowledging that Bardock existed.
I mean,
lazy.
I feel like there's two ways you can go with Bardock. I feel like you can make Bardock the outlier, making him like one of the few Saiyans that was not totally a savage. Or you can say he had like a traumatic event that basically showed him that what he was doing wasn't the right way. So that's my only thing with Bardock. I do want to learn a little bit more about Bardock, but I don't want it to like change the story of Dragon Ball.
Not gonna, so don't worry.
Huh?
It's not going to change the story at all. It's just so that way you can say, remember that time Goku learned about Bardock? Wasn't that cool? All this is for.
I reckon Bardock just hit his head on a rock just before he died. That's why he had a conscious.
I think people are honestly just reading too much into it. And I know as podcasters, it sounds very ironic. Like,
I've made an entire podcast about that exact thing that you just said.
But the thing is, though, like, if someone who really thinks, and I'm sorry, this is probably going to sound like probably the worst I've ever been because I'm usually pretty nice on podcasts and shit. But if you really think that this is going to change Goku and have an eye-opening moment where he's like, oh my God, wow, that was my dad.
Dad.
It's just, he's honestly just going to be like this. He's going to be like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Granola, let's train.
Yeah.
Let's fight. Let's see how strong you are. I want to get stronger.
100%.
That's
it's
really
not going to change him. I can't see it doing anything.
You're gonna get disappointed by it if you really think that Goku is not really an emotional person unless he's in a fight. Like, for example, like the Frieza arc in the very beginning, Dragon Ball Z, the Raditz arc, or Saiyan arc, whatever you want to call it. It's like things like that when it's fighting for his friends who are like family. But even so, if you're looking for that emotional value in that, you need to get that out of your head. I don't know how. Maybe like drink some bleach or whatever, but just fucking get out of your head. Like, literally, Dragon Ball, like this chapter to me was beautiful. I like the callback to Bardock. Now, granted, do I think that they're going to overuse it? Hell no. I don't think they're going to overuse it. I think they're going to do it in a little way.
Bardock's going to come back as Granola's stepdaddy who clapped his mom's cheeks in the past, so that way Granola and Goku can be the best stepbrothers and achieve Super Saiyan God together? What the hell?
I honestly think that's just a meme. And honestly, if you really believe that, I'm sorry, you really need to go back to school. Someone didn't teach you about critical thinking, and clearly that there's something there that's not clicking. You're probably the type of person to shoot up a school just because someone tripped over your shoe. Like, honestly, that I'm just being real. But honestly, like
Jordan, so
I feel like we honestly delved into this way too much.
Is it because I'm so mad? Is that why you feel that way?
A little bit, but also it's just because, like, literally, this is just it's. No matter what, we have no say in it. No matter what. Deal with it.
But I can also be upset by the fact that there's a lack of reason in their storytelling.
Oh yeah, totally. That is a totally fair reason. That's part of the reason for me. Like, some Shonen Jumps I can't even get into anymore. Black Clover was that same reason. Literally, it's just the same, almost the same formula. Oh, the person who's not supposed to be that good or never be able to do something, and then finally gets a power or a book that's going to be able to save his life.
That's just shonen that all together.
They end up doing something good though. That's good.
I don't care. I really don't care. How about turn him evil for once? Turn him evil and then make an arc, another like season where it's a hero trying to defeat him. Then I may be interested. But until then, anyways, off topic. Back to topic.
Yeah, no, all right. So we're basically wrapping up what we're doing here. So
are we on that last question?
Yeah. So here's my biggest thing. Monaito remembers Bardock very clearly, like remembers his name, sees Goku's face, and thinks that it's Bardock even. What is the reason that Monaito would keep this a secret from Granola? Who wants to start?
Frieza told him to. He said, if you say something, I'll kill your ass.
If Frieza goes to Monaito and says, yo, you got saved by Bardock, no, you're next. Who's next? GB?
Honestly, I think about it three ways, really short. First one, maybe Granola was knocked out somehow. Don't know. Knocked out, and then Namekian found him, saved him, whatever, raised him like the son or whatever you want to call it. The second one is that maybe when the Monaito was telling him about it, that like he got super upset and remembering like the vivid scenes of all the giant apes, those Arus like destroying everything, and that he just got full of rage. He's like, no, this is it. I'm not listening to any reason. because that's how kids are. They're thick-headed. That could be another. The third one is, I don't know, something that maybe Akira Toriyama and Toyotaro is just like, let's pull out our butts and just write it on the page. Shit covered in gold.
Yeah. I think the third one is pretty much spot on.
I honestly hope it's the second one. I really do.
We projected 100,000, but we can do 1 million if we just slam Bardock's name down.
Dude, for real. Like, I can't count how many comments I saw this week that was like, can't wait till this shit gets animated. It's going to break the internet. Oh, the reference, the flashback reference to Goku's dad is going to break the internet. Like, honestly, like, I have like a love-hate relationship with how social media affects our fandom, specifically as Dragon Ball fans, because there are so many people who just make a living off of being the first person to post shit. And that's where a lot of those stupid comments and thoughts come out of, is those people or people commenting on those things. The idea of this might, I don't know, being the beginning of some kind of new, like, Bardock's reintroduction to the canon timeline is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And if you thought about it that way, you are fucking stupid. Reese, what do you think, dude? What do you think Monaito's reason might be for not telling Granola that he got saved 40 years ago by the actual people who he now wants to destroy?
I actually think the same as Leonard's first thing, where he's like, yeah, Granola was knocked out, so he didn't know who saved him. Just thought it was Monaito because that's what he's thought all this time. I just, like I said before, I just think that Monaito wanted to use him as a weapon or something, and just let him like boil in his own hate, to be honest.
You know what? I kind of like what JB was saying for his second answer, that like Monaito was probably half told him, but him being so angry about the situation hasn't allowed him to actually accept that. So he's not even really hearing that. I like that. So that could come into play.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's a person that listens to reason at all, Granola.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even listening to his AI the whole.
I think Oatmeal was a person probably on the planet on that day and fucking was dying. And I can't remember what movie it's off, but he's like put his spirit or some shit into the AI in order to survive or live through AI.
Well,
uploaded
Disney?
his fucking, yeah, probably something like that. What was the Johnny Depp movie that he did it? Where he uploaded himself to a computer system?
Futurama. That's like most of Futurama.
Yeah, it's probably something like that for Oatmeal Man. He was a person with memories and uploaded himself.
The role that I feel Oatmeal will play going forward, because like Toyotaro teased the thing. It's like he's there for more than just a granola to talk to, blah, blah, blah. The next chapter is going to be a little bit of a dump on how Monaito was saved by Bardock, and Oatmeal was there to record most of it.
I think he's going to show him the recording? That could be cool.
He could show him the recording. You could just give him facts about like what happened, whatever. But like, yeah, that's what I imagine.
If he show him a recording, then it'd be like, why did you show him this before?
Why didn't Monaito, the dude who has lived with you for the last 40 years, tell you this before? Oh, yeah, that's right, because this is a very poorly written arc.
I just feel like that's
honestly, man. Like
So you think Oatmeal is R2D2 of Dragon Ball?
Yep. Yeah. No. Exactly. Like I've made allusions to how Granola has some very bounty hunter specific vibes. When this arc started, it was in the throes of the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Like he has a very specific scene early on in this arc where he drops a bunch of OG-73 clones, much like Luke dropped a bunch of dark troopers. Like
that's what I thought, that the person who created OG 3 might have created the AI too.
Well, I think OG73 is yet to come back in and is going to fuse with somebody or something, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because this arc is landing in like the plains of Shitsville. Any last minute predictions anybody wants to get out on the record before we finish this podcast?
I'm actually good.
Reese,
Frieza coming in at the end, he's going to kill Elect after Elect's being fucked up by the Saiyans.
I don't think Frieza going to show up at all.
No, and it's probably the best thing for this arc
Yeah,
and
that's
for
why.
Dragon Ball is to let it breathe, man, or breathe from Frieza.
Yeah, I agree. GB, any bold predictions for you, GB?
I honestly think it'd be hilarious if literally Gas is like this hyped up. Oh, it's gonna be like he's supposed to like save everyone, or he's gonna be the main key to all this, and then Frieza just like literally kills him, like with like just one powerful wave. I think that'd be
Or if
hilarious. That's what I
Frieza
want to see.
fucking fuse with old 363, then he'd be the
No,
same powerful.
I do not want to see that. That is something I do not want to see at all.
It would be kind of funny if we've been sitting here considering like the Heaters are going to factor in and Gas is going to be some kind of big bad. And then they show up and Vegeta and Granola are just like, get the fuck out of our way. And they're dead immediately. Like that would be pretty fucking funny.
Hyped up to be so strong, but really just as strong as Monaka.
I would like Monaito to come back to Earth and like hang out with Dende. Like I like the character of Monaito. He seems real nice.
I ain't got with the other Namekians.
His bullshit about not telling Granola over the last, he's been lying to his best / only friend for the last 40 years, dude. Monaito might not be
he
as
wants
good a
payback
person.
on Frieza too.
The fuck's Monaito gonna do? Why does he want fucking payback on Frieza?
Look, I mean, killing all his people.
What was Monaito even doing on the planet?
I thought
Of
it was a mix.
Ceruleans.
I thought that was a mixed planet. I thought it was Namekians and Ceruleans on that planet.
No, I think Monaito was just there trying to fuck all the Ceruleans.
Nope, it was a planet of both. That's where they originated from.
The
I
Namekians?
remember the originate. I remember them saying they both was there.
I'm pretty sure he said that's where Namekians and fucking Ceruleans first live, and then Namekians went out into the fucking galaxy or some shit.
Feels like somebody should look this up.
It could make sense. After that event, they had to leave.
But Monaito looks like he was also the guardian of the planet because he has the same stick as what Kami had, exactly
Good
the
point.
same, and made Dragon Balls. So the knowledge to create Dragon Balls, because not every Namekian knows.
Yeah, it's only like the Dragon Clan or something.
I like where Reese's head's at. Monaito is basically the Kami of this fucking planet. That could be it. What's great about this podcast, right, is that we just did chapter 76 tonight, and in about 4 weeks or a month, we'll have chapter 77, and we'll talk about that then. And it'll probably be just like the same amount of bullshit that we talked about today. I'll probably be
Dragon
just as
Ball
pissed
Super.
off. So,
Chapter 77, The History of Bardock.
yeah, if you've enjoyed my ranting about chapter 76 and want to hear some more bullshit about 77, make sure you rate and subscribe to whatever podcast app you're on right now. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Don't consider what you've heard over the last 60 to 90 minutes, and let's give us that 5-star. Reese, I appreciate you joining us, dude. I'll talk with you soon.
Thanks for having me, man.
GB, where can people listen to your shit, dude?
I'm on a podcast, NPC podcast. It's everywhere that you can go, including silvertongueaudio.org. It's not really an organization. It just sounds cool. You can also find me on twitch.tv/GBEdits and also my Instagram, GB
But the
Edits.
edits is with a 3 though instead of an E. You should let people know that.
Yes,
GB3
it's a 3 in the middle
Dits.
and then a Z at the end because
Oh, yeah,
Dragon
good
Ball
point.
Z. And also, I do anime music videos now because literally my friends and I, we started doing that. So we do different themes. We try to do it weekly, if not bi-weekly. So definitely check that out.
You know what you should do, dude?
What should I do?
You're listening to what you should do right now? as suggested by me.
What should I do?
What you should do is take fucking 3 minutes of Dragon Ball Super Dope content and edit that shit to some stupid music video stuff in a comedic way. And I bet you it would be something different from what your anime music video buds are doing. And I bet you it would be way cooler and funnier.
I'm going to take what you just said and it's going to the trash.
Yo, you're
You
trash,
know
dude.
why?
Shut the fuck up.
You know why?
Why?
Because you're Portuguese.
Oh, good one. Yeah, good luck fucking splicing a Disturbed song to the first Broly movie, you fucking dickhead. Rayshawn, where can people listen to your stuff, dude?
Yes, you can find me on all your podcast platforms. Just search in RGAP,
RGAP.
Rayshawn Gasson Anime Podcast. I talk about pretty much all current anime, some previous and prior anime, and basically give my thoughts on them.
Also, we're doing like I don't know where you're at in editing the thing because it was like 2.5 hours long, but
Yeah, I'm almost done with that. I should have it out this weekend.
we recently sat down and did a big long review of the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball, all in Japanese. Your first time watching those, but yeah, if you need me to like, give some cliff notes on those first 13 episodes, go check out Rayshawn's podcast. Links are in the show notes. Cool. Listen, I'm telling you, this Bardock shit, it's all for fucking naught. Not gonna pay off in the grand scheme of things. We've already seen the importance in that it was distracting to all of us this month. To distract us from a very shitty, poorly written chapter. And with that, I will say, see y'all next Tuesday. I don't know how words work. All right, it's going to do it for this episode of Dragon Ball Super Dope. Make sure you rate, review, all that stuff. Talk to you soon. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Bardock is not important anyway.